So we're joined by assistant manager Kev Somerville after a 4-2 win for Blythe Spartans here at Gretna today. What were your thoughts on the game today, Kev?
I thought, and the stats show us that I thought there was probably not a great deal between the two teams, but I think Blythe Spartans were more clinical in their box in terms of scoring, and we missed far too many chances. But the pleasing thing is that we created a load of chances, but in reality for next week we need to make sure that we defend our box better and that we're a little bit more ruthless in front of goal, which is hopefully going to mean that we can get a positive result next week.
Indeed, next week Bonnyrigg away, not at Bonnyrigg but at Whitehill Welfare. What are your thoughts ahead of that game?
It's also going to be really tough. Bonnyrigg are going to obviously have came out of the Football League. They're probably going to be one of the favourites to get promoted. So of course there's got to be a load of challenges going up there, but do you know what, we've got a load of boys that are keen and eager and they work hard, and we've seen it today that they've got good quality. We've showed flashes of quality in the game. Do I think we can cause them problems? Absolutely. I think we've got players that can do that. But as I say, it has to be that bit, that bit in both boxes has to be better. We have to defend our box better, and we need to make sure that we're ruthless when the ball's in the opposition's box.
Obviously today sees the end of pre-season. How would you say pre-season's gone overall?
I think it started well. I thought Lesmahago and Annan games we looked like we were sort of piecing things together well. I think we then had a little patch where we had a number of boys on holiday and not available, so that created a bit of an issue in terms of squad availability. But the pleasing part of that was it gives us the next opportunity to look at the next group of 20s coming through. Obviously from tail end of last year into this year we've benefited from Harry and goals, who was excellent today. Liam Lammonby and Kane have came through that 20s pathway, so those two games give us a chance to look at the next lot to see who's ready to come, and it gives us an opportunity to have a conversation with Kyle to make sure that we've got guys working on the right things. But it's been worthwhile having the young lads in there. Would we have gained anything for just playing the first team or the first team boys for 5 games? Probably not. We're not going to learn anything new about Stuart Douglas or about Sam Atkinson or about Robbie Iveson. So having 2 games where we got more of the young guys in was probably beneficial in that respect. Today we got closer to our full squad, still a couple missing, and I thought we looked good in patches in the game. I thought we moved the ball well. I thought we created a load of chances. I think it was 11 chances in the second half and maybe 7, 8 or 9 in the first half, so we created enough chances, but we just need to get them in the net. I'm hoping, and the front guys have assured me, that we're saving them up for the season starting.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Yeah, obviously we've named Sean today, and we've announced his signature a few weeks ago. He's properly registered and everything now. Lots of good touches and just lacking a goal so far, but we're sure that'll come given the displays he's put in so far.
Yeah, I have to say Sean has blew me away in pre-season. At every session, at every game, attitude first class. When he first came in, first couple of sessions he was rusty, and by his own admission he felt he maybe wasn't quite up to speed, but he has worked his socks off in training, and in the games he's looked the part. He's got into loads of goal scoring opportunities. I don't have any fear about him scoring goals in the Lowland League. He's going to score goals in the Lowland League. He's too good a footballer not to. So I think once he gets one, I think he'll get a load. But he looked good today, combined well with other guys round about him. We're starting to see relationships with him and Ian Anderson and him and Greg and him and Dan Orsi, so we're beginning to build up those relationships at the front end of the pitch, and he'll be absolutely fine for us.
Yeah, and are there any new faces still to come, do you think, or are we still working on anything, or how is that looking at the moment?
I actually think the new loan arrangement in the Scottish League has delayed and sort of slowed down that whole process, because I think loads of clubs are trying to create formal arrangements for loans, so that traditional approach of going and getting 2 or 3 loans with 2 or 3 different clubs seems to not be the sort of landscape at the minute. Ultimately, I think what will happen is in the next 2-3 weeks agreements will be signed with other clubs further up the league, and then we'll start seeing what can maybe that sort of guys that we can maybe get for the bottom end of League 2 or maybe League 1 or whatever. But I don't think by the time 4 or 5 weeks comes we'll be operating with the same squad. I think there'll be 1 or 2 in there. We've got space for it. We just need to make sure it's the right ones in the right positions, and ultimately it needs to be the right agreement for the club. We're not going to just take somebody on loan and play them for playing sake. We need to be good enough, we need to strengthen what we've already got.
Okay, and one last thing, We've talked about Bonnyrigg next week. First game of the season. I'm not going to ask you for a prediction, but how important is it to get off to the season with a good start?
I think in many respects it's a perfect fixture. It's away from home. They also got relegated. They'll be the favourites. So I think it's a great fixture for us because we can potentially go up in there and cause an upset like we did with a few teams last year.
Perfect. Well, we'll see you next week up at Whitehill against Bonnyrigg. Hopefully we'll get a nice, good following support as well there, and we'll have a good week, and we'll see you then.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Kev.
Cheers.